What is up, party people? It's your girl, Ellie B, back again to update you guys on what we are doing. So, as most of you know, hopefully, we went to Cairo last week. So, it's pretty much the only thing that's happened. So, I figured just do a quick little update. So, let's dive in. So, this one should be a short one unless I ramble too long. Let's just get started. So, I think my last post was on September 9th. So, after that, we had a couple days before we went to Cairo. So on, I think on the 12th, it's a Friday, we went to our Irish friend's embassy. He's a diplomat. So we went to the embassy with him and some of the people that Robert made new friends with. I digress. Anyway, excuse my zit, by the way. So we went to the Irish embassy for a Gaelic football event. Our friend Sean said, oh my gosh, just wear what you'd wear to a bar. First of all, Sean, I haven't been to a bar on purpose in ages. Secondly, what do you mean? Where is the bar? Is it a college bar? Is it seedy? Is it kind of nice? Am I going to the Halls bar? So naturally, I didn't know what to wear. Robert looked adorable, per usual. I was wearing this black skirt and a black V-neck t-shirt, like this one, but black without the pocket. And then an overshirt that was patterned because it was hot. It was very hot and it was outside. And I roll up, and everybody else looks really nice. All the other people that we're riding with look really nice. And I'm like, oh. And they're like, oh, we just came from work or whatever. I'm like, okay, well, you guys look really fancy. I mean, my hair is wet, right? Because it's a bar. You're going to a bar. Then I get there to the actual event, and it is a full-on gala. People are in, I'm not saying formal dresses, but they're in, floor-length clothing. I have my legs out like a common hooer. He told us to eat beforehand because they're not serving very many food. They're just serving hot dogs and hamburgers and potato chips and french fries. Wrong. Full buffet, full dessert, breads, soups, meats, spaghettis, full on. Tables everywhere. What is going on, Sean? He was sorry, I think I misread the information. I was like, yeah, clearly you misread the information. Everybody here is in suits. I'm in the equivalent of nothing. So, wasn't ideal. However, that being said, I got everybody on the dance floor. We were tearing it up. Naturally, I had a spoon to sing into, as one does, because they were playing ABBA. You can't not have a microphone. And I shed my top layer, and Sean was like, aren't you glad what you're wearing is what you're wearing? I'm like, okay, yes, but that's not the point. The point is I looked ridiculous for the first 2 hours. So we stayed there. Oh no. I'm not even tired. That's one, Lainey. Lainey, who should not be keeping count, but who probably is. So I ended up staying until it ended at 11. Look at me. I stayed till the end of a party. And then everyone's like, let's go to the after party. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to bed. So we went to bed. And by the time we got home, Robert was like, hello? I'm like, yeah, exactly what I thought. But that's pretty much, I'm trying to look and see, that's everything that we did that weekend. We went into Sean's house. Okay, so for those of you who don't remember, let me just break it down for you. Sean got sick. I made him a bunch of soups and snacks and stuff. And when he returned the cooler, there was a fork in it. That is not my fork. It's a horrific fork. It's unbalanced. The prongs are really skinny. The bottom is really flat and curved. It's ridiculous. So I complained to him and was like, I don't want this fork. I don't want this fork anywhere near my house. Get this fork away from my good, beautiful forks, right? This fork is going to poison the other forks. He's like, you're being dramatic. It's just a fork. And I was like, all right, I'm just saying I hate everything about it. So for our anniversary, I think we celebrated on the 9th maybe, whatever day we celebrated, maybe the 8th. And I let him use his fork. Take the fork. He didn't. He put it under my pillow. I don't know if I said that in the last vlog, but here I am now. He put it under my pillow like a reverse tooth fairy or something. So naturally, it's a go big or go home situation. So, and I'm not going home. So last Saturday, or 2 Saturdays ago, on the 14th, on Sunday, we went to his place to play paddle. Well, Robert and I watched people play paddle. And then he was going to make pizza for everybody. Again, he told us he wasn't cooking, so I ordered Five Guys, and then he did cook. So I was like, oh, I need to, I'll go with Emily upstairs to go to the bathroom. Great cover. So what I did was I took all of his forks, and I hid them throughout his house. I'm talking under his pillow, on his, in his cupboard of like drinks, like where his like sodas and stuff are, on his bookshelf, in his bike helmet, in his work bag, in his toothbrush holder, in a shoe, above the toilet, like everywhere. I mean, I'm talking, it was like 13 forks in plants, okay? Then, where all the forks should be, I mean, I took ones out of the sink, cleaned them, took some out of the clean, like, container, took those too. So there was not a single fork where it should be. Then, where forks should go, I got these tiny, I mean, they're like this big. They're like American Girl doll forks. It's Trident, really, because it's 3 prongs. Like this big, like probably this big, right? Like that big, okay? And I put them in place of his forks. Naturally, I get a text at like 10 p.m. of like, oh my gosh, why am I finding forks? He's like, it is so unnerving to be brushing your teeth and then all of a sudden a fork is in your toothbrush holder. And he texted like, that was what, a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago almost? He texted like 4 days ago and said, I'm still finding them. He's like, how is this possible? Least to say, I currently have the upper hand. So we'll see if I can maintain it. I'm obviously going to maintain it. Anyway, Monday, the 15th, we went and saw a scary movie with our friend Abir. Abdullah was supposed to go, but he had work. That means I got to have an icy, and I got to drink popcorn, and I got to watch Robert and Abir watch a scary movie because I surely wasn't going to watch jump out scary movies. I saw one jump out, and I tensed so hard that my hip hurt, and I was like, never mind, I'm done. And that was the last thing we did in Riyadh before we went to Cairo. Oh, the movie was by the way. We watched The Last Conjuring. Could have been better. They set up a lot of cool stuff, and I know they're like following the story, but then we went to Cairo on Tuesday. We stayed in Cairo until Sunday. So for the first 2 days, honestly, maybe even the first 3 days, yeah. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I stayed in the hotel. I made a routine for myself. I got up, I got my breakfast. It was just Wednesday, Thursday. I got up, got my breakfast, went to the pool, went to the gym, then I did a bunch of writing, then I ordered lunch, then I did more writing, and then I watched TV, right? Like it was a wonderful staycation for me. The staff at the hotel knew me. I ordered the same thing for lunch every time. Spaghetti with red sauce on the side. I got a lava cake for dinner. It was delicious. Obviously, and other things, but the lava cake was a staple. They knew us. They knew Robert. And then, so Robert had his work thing that I think he said went well. And then on Friday, we were like, all right, let's drive to Alexandria. So we got this man to drive us because driving in Egypt is crazy. And he drove us to like 3 hours to Alexandria because I am seeing and licking the air around the 7 wonders of the ancient world. And this is my number 6. So I'm only missing 1. I'll figure out a way to get to it eventually. I'm only missing the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, which don't exist, but where they were, which is like how the lighthouse doesn't exist, but where it was in Alexandria, is in Iraq. So we'll see. I won't tell anybody when we go. I'll just tell people when we get back. So anyway, we went to go to Alexandria. Gross. Super underwhelming city. I'm sure it's beautiful maybe like 100 years ago. So we were in Alexandria. We saw the Citadel. We saw some catacombs. We were going to go see the library, the largest, not the Library of Alexandria, which they cannot find, but the largest library in the Middle East is in Alexandria, Egypt, but it was closed on a Friday, unfortunately. So we did not see that. We had a mediocre lunch. And I'm talking like mediocre, not even mediocre, subpar. That's 2. If I yawn a 3rd time, I'm scared my grandmother like appear out of the blue and just like sock me in the face or something, or like give me a stern talking to. I digress. I thought I heard something. So anyway, the lighthouse. Did you guys know? Fun fact, and I told my dad this, and it blew both of our minds. The lighthouse of Alexandria. How long do you think it stayed in use? I'll let you think about it. Go longer than you would think originally. Okay, here's the answer. 17 centuries. Centuries. It fell in the 1300s from like an earthquake. It fell 128 years before Henry VIII was born. That's insane. That's crazy, right? Like, that's an insane amount of time for a lighthouse. And they say in the ruins, like underwater, they see like different periods of like bracers. So like there's iron, there's bronze, there's iron, there's steel, like different ways people, like they've been trying to brace the lighthouse and like making it grow. And that like originally it was like this Egyptian design. And then you could see that they took column heads from Greek stuff to like keep it standing, and they took like Roman stuff. So it has like all this history and just keeping the damn thing up. And then it obviously fell over into the water. But how cool is that? And it used mirrors and fire to be a lighthouse. Strategic positioning, I don't know. 17 centuries? What? It's 1,000 years. I told Robert, I was like, that's over a mile in years. And he was like, what is wrong with you? Anyway, then we went to the catacombs. They were cool. It was very, very deep, like very deep in the ground. Very deep. It used to hold 330 bodies. Fun fact. And it's like one of the only places you can see like Greek, Roman, and Egyptian, or no, maybe it was Greek, Egyptian, and Jewish. Three types of burials in one space. It was okay. It was like, you could tell that they thought it was going to be like a much bigger attraction, and then when it wasn't, they just kind of like threw stuff around. Like the things were still in crates, like above ground, but uncovered. So you're like, oh, I can see that it's a sarcophagi, but I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. So that was nice. And then we drove home, like home being back to Cairo. But we get a call on the way back, and it's like, hey, Mr. Hart, like we need to move your room. We forgot that someone had booked that room specifically. Like, are you around to come and move your stuff? And I'm like, we're not packed. And Robert was like, no, actually, we're like 2 hours away. We're in Alexandria. And they were like, oh, we just really, really need to like, you know, flip the room or whatever. And they were like, can we move your stuff? And Robert was like, I mean, yeah. I said, we're not packed though. So like, sorry. And they were like, it's fine. It's fine. Like, we're so sorry we have to do this. When I tell you they like replicated our room, they just moved us across the hall with a better view, but I'll get there. They replicated it. Like if I had placed this on that counter over by that candle, right? In the second room, they placed the same water bottle by the same, like everything in our original room on the desk chair, I had my computer, my journal, and then like my workout clothes piled there. In the new room, my computer and my journal were in the chair, and then my workout clothes were folded on top, like just how it had been, but neater. I mean, how cute are they? And so we had this, it was a bigger room, it was an upgrade, we got a living room in it, and then we had a Nile view, and we could see the pyramids out of the window, like, what? And they're like, I hope this is okay. And we were like, oh, twist our arm, like, this'll be okay, I guess. No, it was incredible. What do you mean, okay? It was awesome. And so that was our Friday. Then Saturday, the 20th, we did like the touristy stuff. So I needed to lick the pyramids because I had no video of me licking the pyramids that we could find. And I knew I did it, but so we went to the Mina House for lunch. First, we went to the new museum, the New Cairo Museum, the Grand Egyptian Museum, GEM, the gem. It's very big. I mean, like, it's very big. It's like an airport. It's very nice, but doesn't really make any sense. Like, they don't give you any information. Like, I feel like when you walk into an exhibition, it should say, like, you know, from 1900 to 1912, if that's, like, the time period, like, those 12 years, then it should tell you, like, what was going on in those 12 years. Like, who's in charge? What are the wars? None of that is provided. It's just more of, like, this is the dynasty. Art. Mummy. Mirrors. Like, not enough information. And then the last, so there's 12 galleries, and it goes like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But then like 5 was closed. You had to like kind of go around. 12, gallery 12, the last gallery in the whole thing for ancient Egypt, or for Egypt, right? I'm guessing it means ancient Egypt. It's from 1029 BC to 430 AD. That's all of time, right? Like, that's so much time. And like, I understand, like, for Egypt, it's really not that much time because, you know, the Sphinx is like 4,000 years old or whatever. But I'm sorry, that is like, that's negligent in my opinion to have that much in one gallery. And it wasn't like that gallery was like bigger. Nope, same size, if not maybe even smaller. I was just bewildered. And then you have to go all the way back up to gallery 1 to leave. It was a very unique experience. Then we had Mina House for lunch. There's also like a mini mall in the museum and like a food court. I don't know, but not. It was like fancy looking. Like it looks like you're in like Dubai or something. Anyway, eventually they have grand plans for the Grand Egyptian Museum, and I look forward to having someone tell me about them because hopefully, unless my dad goes, to Egypt, I will not be returning unless it's on someone else's dime, right? Like if somebody wants to have like a cruise or like get married and host everybody on a boat, great. I'm not paying to go back. Then we went to Mina House, which is the like hotel that we stayed at before. That's like right, like at the pyramids, like colonialism at the pyramids. And we had lunch there so that I could like lick it from a distance because I've already seen them twice. I know that sounds a little snooty, but there was no reason to go and be berated by men just to see it. I will say though, so cool. Like now I kind of wish, now that I'm saying it, I kind of wish I went and saw it because it's just so cool. It's just so cool. Like how did it, okay. I need to stop like nerding out about it. Anyway, that was Saturday. Then we went back to the hotel and kind of got some like TCB, took care of business. And then we had dinner with Joseph and his mom. Robert's had Joseph's job. So he had it at Corvus, and then Joseph left, and then Robert took it, and then Joseph was at McKinsey, and then when he left, Robert took it, so it's like been bouncing. But now he's at Oxford getting his PhD in historical something. I don't know. And we had dinner with them for like 4 hours. It was actually really nice. We left at we got there at 8, and we left I think at like 11:30. So it was really nice. His mom's adorable. We got to talk a lot about Saudi, people we knew, and just all that jazz. They were seeing the pyramids the next day, and I was like, "You're gonna freak out." And she was like, "I probably am." So it was quite lovely, and it was at a restaurant that we went to with the girls, and Robert and I had been to like 3 times before because it's a pretty consistently delicious location. And then we flew back. I flew back on Sunday morning. Robert flew back Sunday night because he had more work to do, and they can move his flight, but I wasn't paying to move my flight. But I got Robert's car. Like Robert's company drove us to the airport and picked us up, which was really nice. And then I got to the airport, and this man was like, "Oh, hi, I'm here to help you through the airport. And everyone in Egypt is trying to scam you." And I was like, okay. He's like, "No, really, like, I'll help you through the airport." And I was like, "It's an airport. I know how to walk through an airport. Like, I'm here 2 hours early. It's going to be fine." He was like, "Mrs. Hart, I'm with Mackenzie. I'm here to help you get to Riyadh safely." And I was like, "Oh, you know, like, details about my life." So this man, like, basically just, like, line jumped. He was just like, "Excuse us, we're coming through." And just, like, got me through the first round of security because you have to go through security to get into the airport. And then, like, he just went to the front of the line for the desk to get the ticket and was like, "She needs a ticket." And then he, like, filled out my little customs form, and then we went to, like, the special, like, diplomatic passport control. And he was like, "Do you feel special?" I was like, "I actually do feel really special. Thank you so much. Like, this is lovely." And then I flew home. And then I went and picked up... No, I didn't pick up Robert from the airport because I was bushed. I mean, I was absolutely... Oh, no! I'm going to get a tongue lashing. Rats. Dang, I did not realize I was that tired. So we got back on Sunday. Gosh, it doesn't feel like we just got back. Did we really just get back on Sunday? And it's only Wednesday? Dang, okay, well, yesterday was National Day. Tuesday the 23rd was Saudi National Day. So Robert kind of had off work, kind of didn't. He was supposed to have off work, but then he ended up having to do a bunch of stuff. A couple years ago, we went like out and about for National Day and did all the sales and watched the flyover. But the traffic is like crazy because everybody's so excited. So we did not go out and about. I made a bunch of food. My friend is actually feeling pretty sick. She's found out she's pregnant. So I made her like everything I could possibly think of that's homemade. I'm talking biscuits, mac and cheese, sweet potato casserole, soups. I accidentally blew up a couple jars in the freezer because I didn't realize if you put hot soup in a glass jar in a cold freezer, it'll explode. Didn't know that. So I spent all day cooking. Robert spent all day reading and banjoing and doing like taxes and stuff. And then today is today. Robert goes to Dubai this weekend. I do not get to go with him. I was going to, but it's just like 2 days and it's expensive. And I have my poetry reading at the Poetry Supper Club on Saturday. So I need to kind of be prepared. I need to be here for that and make sure that I'm not going to miss any of the like stuff beforehand, like the practice and stuff. So we'll see how that goes. I probably should have waited to do this till after that, but it'll all be lumped together. You know, the next 2 weeks, it'll all be lumped together. So yeah, I've got a social tonight with my writing friends here in Riyadh, the people I do the workshop for. So we got a social tonight just to like check in, make sure everybody's like alive. And then, Robert leaves tomorrow. Oh, I got cleared today to jog slowly outside 1 kilometer. So basically like 10 minutes of jogging, but that's better than nothing. And I have to like track my heart rate and tell her what it is. Basically, I should just show her how unathletic I am or how out of shape I am. Because today she let me jump. She let me do some jumps and some jogs, and I was like, and she was like, oh, you're in shape? And I was like, I thought I was. The answer is no. Oh no, 4. Oh, what is happening? So I'm excited to get to jog tomorrow. And then, yeah. We go to Portugal in October, maybe even Georgia in October, Thanksgiving in November, home in December. Just a whole host of things going on. And my book is with an editor right now, so I find she gets it back to me on the 28th. This is just for like plot edits of like, I think this scene needs to be longer or you need to add the scene or whatever. And then I'll send it to her for edits. So book 3 is actually like kind of coming along. So anyway, I don't have a lot of pictures. Robert does, and I'm just too lazy to wait for him to like send them to me. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do it with the like 3 pictures I have. So wish me luck. Also sorry in advance. And yeah, I will check in a couple of weeks. Thanks for watching. I did totally forget to mention that we did go to Coptic Cairo, which is like a sect of Christianity. So it's like a little area where there's like apparently the first church ever built, and there's a hanging church, which is like built on these Roman ruins. And there's also like apparently the cave that like Jesus and Mary and Joseph hid in, and that Mark went in and wrote his gospel in. So you'll see a video of us in that cave that I was just talking about. So I forgot that we did do that as well. So that was our Sunday or Saturday, I think, also before we went back to the hotel, before we had dinner with Joseph and his mom. So you'll see we went to the Coptic Cairo Museum. I can't remember if I put in a picture of the like one of the books of Psalms. Papyrus, I found out, had been used commonly and continuously for 4 millennia, which is absolutely insane. So yeah, that's the ceiling actually from Coptic Cairo, from the museum. So yeah, we went there and we saw some cool stuff. So enjoy the videos, and yeah, that's everything. Do you see in the distance? Ready?